See your face when I close my eyes. I hear your name when the wind's just right. A setting sun, gone once more. Each night is worse than the night before. Now I can't stand to leave you. I can't take away this world on my home. And I don't know what I'll do. I don't think I can make it all alone. They say all can heal with time. That don't mean much to me tonight. Like city streets, your eyes shine. I'm lost out here with the losing kind. No, I can't stand to leave you. I can't take away this world on my home. No. And I don't know what I'll do. I don't think that I can make it all alone. Yes, I felt this kind of pain a whole straight through my chest. Yes, I felt this kind of pain. It seems now it's all left was always there, never far away. It seems now it's all that's left. Every song I hear, your voice sings. The words are clear. Back to me.
Can you see
Back to me. My only one.
Hold up. Can you go back?
And hold me close.
Okay, thank you.
Your work's done. No, I can't stand to leave you. I can't take away this world on my home. No, and I don't know what I'll do. I don't think that I can make it all alone. Oh, no, I can't stand to leave you. I can't take away this world on my home. And I don't know what I'll do. I don't think that I can make it all.
What is going on, everybody? How's everybody doing tonight? Thanks for joining. Thanks for hopping on. I appreciate it. Let's see who all's in the house. Brian, what's going on? Norman, what's going on? Darnell, Warren, Dale. What is up, my friends? Who else is on here? James, how's it going? Jared, Mr. Bomar, how are you doing? Oh, that's awesome, Jared. Rick, how's it going? Bill, how's it going? Everybody, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. We got a great show for you tonight. So tonight we have our friend, Andre Brunet. If you don't know him, you will after this show. Andre has been on the History Channel. He's doing a lot of really cool stuff, and we're going to dive right into that here in a few minutes. First off, I want to tell you tonight we've also going to do a little thing we're going to do. It's called like a digger spotlight, and tonight's digger spotlight is going to be Jared Hanley. And if you guys don't know Jared's a great guy, and he's out of Kentucky. And I got a little bit of something that I'm going to read that he sent me, and then we're going to run a clip of Jared's bucket lister for this year that he in the year's just started. So seriously, it's insane. So Jared says, Hey guys, I'm a wildlife biologist with the state, and I also teach college biology. I've always been fascinated with metal detecting and wanted a metal detector since I was a kid. Wait. Everybody's saying is my mic on? I'm gonna make sure before I get any further. I gotta make sure this is on because I thought it was, but let me make sure. Teach college biology. I've always been fascinated with metal detecting. Whoa! What's going on here? Oh, I see what's going on. Let's do this. Everybody's saying is my mic on? I'm gonna make sure. Hold on. Gotta make sure this is on. We got some stuff going on here, Andre. Give me 1 minute, guys. That's on. 1 second. Hey, are you watching? Is that you, Dre? Are you watching this?
Yeah.
Your sound's on. Turn it off. That's what I'm hearing. All right. Sorry, man. Sorry, I was like, where's this feedback coming from? All right. Now we'll get back to it. So he said, I broke down and bought my first metal detector in 2008 after watching the show Meteorite Men. They used the Fisher F75, so that was what I ordered. I spent the first several weeks plucking nails from our family farm. I didn't realize how much time and dedication it took to learn your machine or how much time it took to do proper research for good sites. I got frustrated finding nothing but iron and gave up for a while. Then I saw a post on Facebook where my friend Mike had found some Civil War relics. I sent him a message and we hooked up after several times hunting on hunts where I learned a lot about metal detecting. I think that is huge in this hobby. Find someone who knows what they're doing and pick their brain. He also suggested that I watch a lot of YouTube videos and join metal detecting groups. This only fueled the fire. I learned a lot of tricks from Mike and YouTube videos about detecting and finding good sites. Then I started getting into some good coins. I am now hooked for life. I joined several detecting groups on Facebook, including Kentucky Dirt Diggers, ran by Zeb Hargis. Zeb and I ended up going on a few hunts together, and the rest is history. Pun intended. Now Zeb and I get out as much as we can and dig. We landed some really good finds in 2018. A few of my favorites were an 1831 Mexican 2 real, a 1957 gold class ring, and an 1857 large cent, and a bunch of Indian head pennies. A good haul of silver and a nice collection of Civil War relics. I'm looking forward to some more great finds with Zeb in 2019. So far, I've snagged some Civil War relics and an old gold ring. And just last night, I found my first ever seated 1858 half dime, and that's what we're getting ready to see. Just so everyone knows, Zeb is famous. He basically just lets me tag along and bring him snacks and spray his silver for him. Happy hunting, he says. That's so great. So Zeb is awesome. So what we're going to do is I'm going to run a clip of Jared, and we're going to see this last video of his latest find in this bucket lister. So here we go.
Out here doing a little bit of digging. About to give up. I was swinging that 75. My arm was getting tired, so I put it up, switched to the Deus. Thought I'd give it one more shot before dark, and I'm kind of glad I did. May have just got a bucket lister here. Let's flip it around and see if I can show you guys. It's a little dark right now. See the blue bottle? It's always a good sign. See if I can get in here on this coin a little bit. I know you probably can't see it. It's 1858. Let me give you a little size perspective. Very small coin. Let's flip it over. Know how well you guys can see that. But that is a half dime. O mint mark. And I am freaking out a little bit. I'm gonna shut this thing off and start swinging a little bit more. Happy hunting.
And that was Mr. Jared. Thanks so much, Jared. We really appreciate you being our first featured digger of the week. I'm going to try to do that more often. If you want to be a featured digger of the week, all you have to do is send me some info about yourself and a little video clip, and we will get you on the show as a featured digger of the week, all right? So do so, because I love sharing with people, other people. So that's what we do here. So tonight we've got Andre on, or AKA Rattlesnake Dre, and what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to play a clip, and when we get back from this clip, Dre's going to be on the screen and we're going to start our interview. All right. Let's see here. I got you in here. There it is. And here we go.
Right now, all the lakes and bayous are at a record low. Storms have uncovered areas that have been buried for hundreds of years, and there's treasure everywhere ready to be picked. We're here about Eugene Bunch.
Gentleman train robber, huh?
Sounds like I'm related to it.
Okay. How long y'all in for?
Till we find the treasure.
Let's find it, all right?
Let's go get it!
Can't fight the temptation when you get the vibration.
This is a big hit. This is actually maxing out my machine.
Did you get that fanny pack from your grandmother? Ah! Thorn got me. Eugene Bunch was Bush North, where he was shot and killed.
Brandon, when I asked you earlier how much gas is in the four-wheeler, and you told me, hell yeah, what did that mean?
Anything that I find is not going to a museum. It's going to my pocket.
Not all treasure is silver and gold, Brandon. You do understand that, right?
Nope.
Brandon, look at this.
You are shitting me. We finally found something worth value. We could be talking of 300,000.
More like $1 million, buddy.
Woohoo! I think I found something over here.
This could be something he dropped after he robbed the train. This is exactly where Eugene passed. This has to be Eugene's boat.
From the start of our journey, I was down here, had no faith in this. But we're hot on the trail of treasure. Oh,
Dude, I can't believe we found this.
oh my God, there's so much money right here.
Oh, all right. Rattlesnake Dre, welcome to the show, brother. How are you doing, my friend?
What's up, everybody? How you doing?
How's it going, buddy? You doing all right?
I'm doing great.
You been out doing any digging lately?
I haven't been doing as much as I've liked to lately. The job I have now keeps me really busy, but I do get out about once a week, so that only puts me about 4 times a month. You know, when you're addicted like everybody else is in this, you know, you'd like to be out there every day, but you just can't do it.
Yeah, no, I get it, man. I work 12-hour shifts. So when I'm gone all day. You know, I get home, I leave when it's dark, I come home when it's dark. I mean, it's, you know, but yeah, we get out when we can, and that's what's good about it. And we find what the best we can when we're out, you know, so
Right.
that's how it goes. So Dre, tell me something. First, before we get started, I want to say that somebody, Dale White in the chat has said he's seen that very episode that we just showed the clip from. So that's pretty cool. You've already got some people who have seen you watching tonight. So that's pretty cool.
Awesome. If they have any questions about the show, they could just message it and I'll answer it the best I could. There's a few things I can't talk about. I'm still on contract. They could call me to go do another show. So I want to kind of keep that. But I'll answer everything I could for sure.
Oh, yeah. So before we get into all that good stuff and all that juicy, fun stuff, let's get right down to what got you in the hobby. How'd you get started, and how long you've been doing it? And just give us an overview of yourself up to this point.
Right. When I was about 10 years old, I watched Indiana Jones, Legend, Temple of Doom, and I was hooked ever since. I got a metal detector for Christmas, and I was out in Grandma's yard digging up, pennies. But about 2 years ago, I was driving on the road in a town not far from here, about an hour from here, and I seen a guy in a field, and he was metal detecting. So I kept driving, and I was just like, man, I'm turning around. I'm going to talk to this guy. So I whipped the car around, pulled over. I was yelling at him from the side of the road. I was like, bro. And he's like, hey. So ran out there, we met, and the last 2 years he's put me on a few good spots, and really I've been hella lucky. Just walk, we follow a few maps, but there's stories down here that I follow, and having my buddy help me out was a really, really good opportunity. I'm really glad I turned that truck around that day. So
Yeah, I've met people that I metal detect with just from driving and seeing them like in a park and being like, "Whoa, where's somebody metal detecting? I gotta go over and talk to them," because for my area, there's not a whole ton of people who metal detect around here. There's a lot more now than there was when I started. That's for sure. So I get it, man. And so you started out. You said you were 10 years old. Is that what you said?
10 years old, but I mean, I was not serious. I would do it, here and there, maybe, a handful of times a year. But about 2 years ago, I got really serious, and I've been completely addicted. I found my first Civil War bullet 2 years ago, and that was it. I mean, every chance I get, I sneak off. I bring my girlfriend on dates, and I kind of like sneak the metal detector in the back of the truck, and she's like, "You said we were having a picnic." And I'm like, "Yeah, we're gonna eat eventually."
Eventually.
Yeah.
That is so good. For the viewers, I want to say something. Behind me right now is a map of old New Orleans map, and you're from down there, right?
Right. I'm an hour south of New Orleans.
Okay, so you're really south.
Very.
Yeah, he's on the very bottom of the state, which is really cool. But I just thought it was really neat that when I was looking up for for my backdrop, I always try to change it up, and I seen this one. I'm like, that's perfect for this show, So you find a lot of Civil War relics down there, yeah?
Yeah, they didn't have very many battles. There was two of them for sure. That's about an hour away from where I live at, and I don't think anyone's ever even tested the area where I'm from, because there's one property I've been working for over 2 years. I recently got kicked off of. I'll explain that later. But I've found hundreds of bullets. I would say probably 500 different artifacts just off of that one property.
Wow.
There's probably two battles. One's the Battle of Lafourche Crossing. I don't want to talk any more about that because I'm still hunting that place. But that place has been pretty good.
Yeah, well, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at you, but really, I'm admiring your vast collection of goodies that you've dug behind you. Really.
If you look right behind me, like right up here, these are all bottles, and some of those come straight from New Orleans. This one right here is off of Royal Street, and you can see it says Royal Street, New Orleans, right on it. That's my favorite bottle.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I've never been at a real big bottle dump, but my mom's property has some old bottles on it that I've collected, and my buddy Dale, the one in the chat here, he actually he gave me a few old bottles that he digs. He's done a lot of bottle dump digging. So anyway, let's get to it. Let's get to the meat here. So tell us from the beginning how you landed on the History Channel.
Right, without even 400 followers on YouTube.
Yeah,
because that's always the hate I get is like, man, how did you make it to the History Channel? You barely have, you don't even have 500 followers.
Hey, speaking of, guys, go to his YouTube channel, Rattlesnake Dre. It's right above him on the screen, and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead.
Yeah. So about 4 years ago, I worked at a hardware store, and it was a pretty popular place because I live in a very small town, and this was like a hangout spot. It was a pretty big building. The whole community would show up there, and one day, a TV crew showed up to come and film a reality show about a hardware store, and I actually filmed that, and it just never hit TV. But before I left, I grabbed one of the producers because whenever I was younger, I was always into theater, always wanted to be on TV. I grabbed one of the producers and I'm like, "Hey, bro, I want to be on TV. Like, this is what I want to do for a living. I want to show people everything I do. I want to, I want to tell everybody my stories. And he's like, okay. He says, well, look, keep in touch with me through email. And for about 2 years, I sent him treasure hunting, exploring. When I take vacations, they were always kind of centered around exploring or looking for lost things and stuff like that. And one day he called me and he's like, hey, he goes, I have a spot for you if you want to go on a treasure hunting show. And I was like, sign me up. 1 week later, these cats flew from Los Angeles and drove up in my driveway. And I remember the guy gets out of the car because we had been talking for about 6 months before things really got rolling. And he said, hey, bro, did you ever think that people from Hollywood would show up in your driveway? And I told him, yeah, I did. And I was just joking around and stuff. But I had an incredible time filming. It was one of the funnest times of my life. It was something that I wanted to show people what I did. I actually butted heads a few times with what they wanted to put on TV. I wanted to make it as realistic as we could because they wanted to take some privileges and say like, oh, well, we're looking for this. And I'm like, no, because you would never do that. If you're really treasure hunting, you're like, well, we got to go look for gold. And I'm like, the chances of you digging up a bunch of gold bars or a jar of silver coins, because that's what everybody thinks, that their grandpa buried a jar of silver coins on their property.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
I like the way the TV show went, it helped me out a lot. I got so many more opportunities. I finally got sponsors, which is awesome, I get a bunch of free beer every time I go to the bar, which that's a perk that, I hope never goes away.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, for sure. We want as many of those. You just keep those coming, huh?
And hit me up if you want to help me up. I really need a sponsor to travel around. I got a bunch of friends all over. I'd love to go film with them. So,
yeah, I tell you, man, that's something that I've always wanted to do. Is I want to do something where I want to do like a full series of like a summer of me traveling all over and meeting all these awesome people that watch my show, that I've talked to, that I've known forever on these metal detecting sites or watching the show, and then actually finally get to meet them in person and go digging with them and just have a really cool summer like highlighted video. That's what I want to do. But, chances of that happening are pretty slim. My kids are still growing up. I got a long time to wait before I could do something like that, Oh, you said you have a sponsor. Hold on, guys. I want to say something here. So it is, tell us, let me see. Let's see the pinpointer first. And then tell us who made it. And because what we're going to do is we're going to be working with your sponsor very soon on an upcoming giveaway. So tell us about it. And you got your pinpointer handy?
Yeah, I got it here.
All right. Or yeah, you can show us the whole set if you want. If you want to move the camera, however you want to do it, it's up to you. I don't care.
If you look right there in that display case, that'll tell you everything about it. It's Sportsman Hydrographics. I have his phone number right here. I'll put the information up later on. But he actually did my entire machine, my shovel, and my pinpointer. And I'll pull the pinpointer out real quick.
It is awesome. It is absolutely awesome.
Yeah, this thing came out incredible. If you want to see some close-up pictures, I have close-up pictures on my Facebook. But he did the whole thing, and this thing is durable. Okay, only the tip will wear out because I've had him dip it once before. But it feels a lot different than it first came, and it cleans off incredibly well. So that's unexpected perk from getting it dipped. So,
yeah. So that is a rattlesnake dip. Like that's the design. So that's really cool, Dre. I gotta tell you, that is freaking awesome. But we are going to be working with him, and we're going to raffle up. We're probably going to do some detector raffles that are dipped, and we're also probably going to give away a free dip. So what you'd have to do is like send your pinpointer, and he'll send it back dipped. And whatever design, there's literally how many designs? Like thousands of designs. Almost.
It's really it's endless, and it's endless possibilities too, because he dips everything from football helmets to shotguns to soccer cleats. So it really doesn't matter. Sky's the limit. He has, I mean, an incredible array of different patterns, and new ones are always coming out. So
Yeah, I was talking to him because he contacted me because of you. You had mentioned that you were going to be on the show, and he contacted me, and we were going to do a giveaway for this show, but we didn't have enough time to get it all set up. So I decided that it would be best if we waited maybe for a show or two after, and that's cool. But he started out doing helmets for helmets, right? Is that what that's? It was. It's a nonprofit organization for kids who have to wear those soft helmets on their heads because they have some sort of brain issue or swelling of the brain, and he started doing that, and it's absolutely blown up. He's doing 100 helmets a month, and it's just, I mean, he does it out of the kindness of his heart, and he, I'm telling you, man, his work is great. I've seen he's got an Instagram account, and I'll put the link in the video afterwards. I didn't want to get off topic, Dre, but I did want to talk about that because what he's doing is really, really awesome, and to see people, that are willing to help others is that makes it that much better, So, that being said, so what do you got coming up? What are your plans from here going forward?
okay, I do have some really cool opportunities locally. I'm still working with a few of the producers. I actually have like 3 or 4 of them that I do stay in contact with. I would love to do a show similar to what you were talking about, where I travel across the country. I've actually talked to a few people. I think I've even talked to that guy, Zeb, you were talking about before.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, I gave his information to one of the producers already because they were filming some stuff in Kentucky recently.
Nice.
And I came across him on Facebook, and I was like, man, this guy is he's the grand champion out there. So
yeah, Zeb's great, dude. We love Zeb. Zeb sometimes comes on and plays music for us when we leave, when we're going out on, when we're closing the show. He'll come and play us a song sometimes. But he's like an all around awesome guy. He finds awesome stuff. He plays great music. He's in a band, a bluegrass band. I mean, he's a busy guy, and he sells alcohol for a living. Like, what the hell? Like, awesome guy.
You had the future things coming up.
Yeah.
I have a few new permissions, but the way I'm doing them now, I don't want to go out there with just my phone and record like I've been doing and put it on my YouTube channel. I've hooked up with he's a young guy from this area. He lives in New Orleans now, but he's a film producer. He makes music videos and documentaries, and we're going to start documenting some of these bigger permissions. I have a big plantation coming up. I have a local house that's right up the road from me. It's the oldest house in this town. It has everything from the Civil War to running alcohol. I don't know if it was in the 20s or 30s, but they were stashing it at the house, and there's secret tunnels that go in the house. And supposedly there's another story that there was uniforms, and he doesn't know how old the uniforms were, but he burned them in the backyard in a trash pile.
Civil War uniforms.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the story you hear all the time, but I have to check it out because I was already told a story that if you go by this one cane field right along the woods in this certain spot, that there's just relics laying on top of the ground every time they plow it. And I'm like, you hear that all the time. Very first time I walked out there was bullets sitting on top of the ground. So sometimes you got to follow those stories. I've chased 100 of them that lead to nothing. But I mean, if you've done this for a while, you know how much time you got to put into this before the metal detecting gods decide to reward you just enough to keep you hunting.
No, I get it, dude. It's so true. Like when you go and you're digging these sites, or you find a good site, and you think in your head like you have all these these dreams, and you're seeing all these visions of all these amazing finds, and then sometimes you do hit that load of awesome finds, and then sometimes it's like a total crap, it's like, man, this is just, I ain't pulling nothing but junk, like nothing good's coming out of this place. And oftentimes, from my experience, oftentimes it's totally it's totally the houses or the places you never expect to be the best ones you pull stuff from. So
Right.
you were telling me, like, I think we were having a conversation. You were telling me that you had some permissions on some old plantations down there, yeah?
Yeah, that's one of the very lucky perks from living in the very bottom of Louisiana. There's plantations spread out everywhere. I've even found one that's not on any maps. It was in the middle of the woods. There's no roads to get there, and I was just searching a random set of trees. There's no houses anywhere. So I said, let me just go take a little walk here. I know I found stuff, a couple miles down the road. So I went for a walk one day, didn't have my metal detector or anything, and walked up, and, through the trees, up comes this huge plantation. And I was just like, man, when was the last time somebody's been here? What's the story behind this? And,
Yeah.
I'm lucky that I live in a place where not a lot of people like to do this. So I don't have that much competition. So I'm very lucky and fortunate to have the opportunities I do have.
Yeah, I guess, like around here, there's not a ton of people that metal detect. But that being said, the area's been detected numerous times over the years, So for me, finding a virgin site's a lot harder than, some people. Some people don't have a problem because, like you said, they're in an area where nobody does it,
Right.
So, didn't I see one of your videos? I think it was a video, maybe it was just a picture, where you found some leg shackles or something like that. Wasn't that you?
I don't think it's leg shackles. I found plenty of chain, but I can't come out and say I know this was hand. The guy I hunt with, he said, man, he says every time you find something, says you just make this grand story behind it. He's just like, that's probably just chain. I'm like, no, these are, this is what held, but
That's so awesome. But you're in an area where things like that were very prevalent, and to find stuff that has to do with, even if it's not the most the best side of the United States history, you're still in an area to find that really cool history that, maybe be a negative thing back then, but to save the history itself now is amazing. I mean, there's a lot of people that, I personally would love to dig a pair of shackles or anything that has to do with that time period, involving not quite so much the Civil War, but just that time period of the negative history of the United States. You know what I'm saying? Just to have, for the collection.
And there's actually really crazy stories that are in the town that I hunt in. That's not far from me. It's about an hour. They actually had a revolt where the slaves actually turned on some of the plantations, and actually a few plantation owners or people that were related were killed, and they actually captured all the slaves. And there's a mass grave that they've never found that has over 100 slaves that were they were shot and killed.
That's terrible. I mean,
yes.
It's terrible, but it is one of those parts of the history that that when you find it, you're saving history.
Right.
And I mean, that's what we do. We save it. We save history, and just in your part of the country, just down there, it was a very big thing. So I imagine if you haven't, you will find some really cool stuff from that time period. So let's see here. I was trying to see where else we want to go with this. So you don't have any definition or definite yes or no on what's going to happen next with you and possibly doing a show or not.
Well, originally they were going to do a spinoff, and that's what I'm waiting on. The problem is everything's going to social media. Cable is actually dying.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm gonna spread myself as far as I could, because it's gonna be shows like this that you have, and YouTube and stuff like that. That's what people are gonna mainly watch, I believe, in the future. The History Channel is a great platform. Hopefully, they do a bunch of online stuff, because I think that could diversify what they're doing. Instead of just having one cable TV show, they could have thousands of shows and let people pick from it.
Well, I mean, they already have something like that. You can, if you, excuse me, I don't have cable. I got rid of that long time ago. But you can subscribe to their channels, like on Roku or whatever. You can download and pay to subscribe to, History or Nat Geo, just the channels that you mainly like to watch, and not have to worry about paying the big cable bill. So that's one way they've done it. But you are 100% correct. You're 1,000% correct. Cable is a dying platform. Like I mean, it's almost irrelevant anymore whatsoever. So it is going. It is all going to, maybe not shows like this, but social media platforms. Like you can watch whatever you want, on social media. I mean, anymore. I mean, so it is a good thing that you are spreading yourself and going that route, because I mean, that's where it's at. Now, you have had your YouTube channel how long?
I've had my YouTube channel about 2 years. Since I started getting serious with the metal detecting almost every weekend, I wanted to start documenting everything. I have every time I've gone out, I actually wanted to keep a journal of it, but I said, man, why don't I just throw every time I go out there, at least film a little bit. That way it's always going to be out there, that way 10 years from now I can go back and show my kids or show some of my friends, like, man, look at this, look where, and I have everything documented where I was. And I mean, I could basically remember anything behind me. If I go grab it, I can tell you, like, this was found on this day over here.
Oh, that's cool. See, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. I've just found so much stuff, and it's just like it all. And I was actually looking through my finds the other day, and I was thinking, where did I find that? I cannot remember. And then I watched a video of mine on YouTube, and I was like, that's where I found it. So it does help. I don't have I haven't really done so much pre-recorded videos, because for me, I'm all about live content. I believe that live content is where it's at. That's where the juice is. That's where you can feel somebody's emotions. You can see their emotions. You can be part of that exact moment at that exact time with somebody. And so that's where I go. I go to, like, all my content, for the most part, if it's on YouTube, is live. So whether it's I'm out digging live or I'm doing my show live, it's all live, because I feel like you get real-time value from it, and that's what we all live for. When we're watching these videos, when we're watching your videos, when we're watching anybody's videos, to me, when it's a live video, I am that much closer to the person than I ever would be if I'm watching a pre-recorded video. Now, I get it. There is a place and time for pre-recorded videos. Where would all these awesome digging YouTube stars be if they didn't pre-record their videos? You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, that's where I go for mine. But I don't know. It's just one of those things, man. It's to each their own. I don't cut or anything like that. So when you see what I'm doing, it's raw and it's real. When you watch a good Hoover Boys episode, or a Jocelyn Elizabeth episode, or whatever, it is cut and it's put there and it's placed just right and everything looks good and it's all smooth, and that's cool too. So I mean, that's what works for you. That's the way I see it. But anyway, I just got off on a complete tangent. So tell us about some of them finds behind you. What's your favorite? What do you wait? Because that's a hard question to ask, and I hate to ask people that. What is one of your most memorable finds?
Actually, I grabbed a few of the things here that I have laid out here on the side of me, so I'm going to grab a few of them. Like I said, I was lucky enough to find, I believe, is a virgin spot because we've pulled hundreds of bullets out of there. We've pulled silver coins because we think it was a Union cavalry camp because we found so many of these. This is the spur.
Thanks, Gabriel.
And
come on. That is so awesome.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that these were rare.
Oh my God.
People were like, holy shit, dude, do you know what you have? And I was like, yeah, it's a spur. He's like, dude, you don't find those whole. And I have found some that are broken. But I've padlocks like this. This is the second padlock that we pulled off of that property. And I was able to preserve it.
That looks really good.
Yeah, it looks nice. I was really happy about that. I do have some coins I pulled off of there. A few of these silver coins, I took them out so I could show you guys.
What is that? Is that a seated Liberty or what was that?
Yeah, that's a seated 1875.
Oh, nice.
But you had said my favorite coin that I found there is this. That's a half real from 1804.
Nice.
How did that get there? I'm not sure. You know, I mean, that had to pass through a few hands, I'm guessing, before it reached all the way to the very bottom of Louisiana. But the best find probably.
Well, I mean, you would think though, because Spanish and French people, they were pretty. You know, I mean, they're pretty close on the map over there. You know, maybe one of the French guys had one in his pocket when he came over on the boat, or you know what I'm saying?
Right. And to add something really interesting, this is all stories. Like, I've heard 100 stories and I fall in love with them. You know, I'm a hopeless romantic, so I want everything to be mysterious. But supposedly there was pirate activity on this plantation, and this would have been pre-Civil War. The plantation that stood there, supposedly Jean Lafitte would rob ships along the Gulf Coast. If you don't know about Jean Lafitte, go look him up. He is a crazy pirate. He was the first true gangster. He would rob these ships, kill the captain of the ship, and tell the rest of the crew, like, look, you're now pirates or you die today. So, of course, they would become pirates. And supposedly the way that he made it to this plantation was he was robbing ships, Spanish ships. He would rob the ships, and sometimes they were full of slaves instead of silk or gold or alcohol and spices. So what he would do is take the slaves, bring them to this plantation, because if he would go to New Orleans, they were going to kill him. They were going to hang him. The governor of New Orleans had a $500 reward on his head. So Jean Lafitte put a $5,000 reward on the governor's head. Jeez. Just to show him, because, I mean, he was extremely wealthy. His brother actually owned a bar in New Orleans that still stands today. It's the oldest bar in New Orleans. If you ever go to that city, please go there. It's really cool.
Wow, that is really crazy. That's crazy to think that the crazy murderous whatever would put a number on your head. You know, the mayor's head. Yeah,
and they actually made a pact later on because he fought against the British for the War of 1812 right there in New Orleans. I have not gotten a permission around there. It's very protected, and they will put you behind bars if you get caught metal detecting over there. But I'd like to think that passed through a few pirates' hands and then ended up in mines today. You know, that's a story I'd like. But
well, I you know, that's part of it, man. Like when we dig stuff up, when I dig stuff up, when you dig stuff up, it's like one of those things where it's just like your brain takes you to that time and like, who had it? You know, what was the story behind this? Why did they lose it? When did they lose it? You know, when you find old rings or you find whatever it is, that's something that I always think about, and I'm sure a lot of other people do. So, you know,
you touched on earlier about the moment of discovery on your live digs. That is the only moment that you're truly entranced with whatever you find. Because now the stuff sits on my wall and I could show people it, but the moment you pull it out of the ground and realize what it is, that's the moment that you feel the very best. And then after that,
Well, yeah, and it was just, it's like, okay, so you find it and you're like super pumped up, yeah. But once it's done, that's it. It's just like on to the next, because and that's probably why we are so involved by the hobby, is because it is that feeling of when you find that one thing or that whatever. It's a rush. It's like I go ahead.
that adrenaline, that's you searching for that over and over. I could fill this room up 100 times, and it doesn't, it doesn't add up to that one feeling when you dig it up.
Yeah, but the good thing is, it's not like drugs where you have to always chase something and it never is the same. That
Right.
feeling is always the same when you find something good. It's always that, oh my God. Now maybe it's not the same if you've dug your first Civil War bullet as opposed to your 800th Civil War bullet, but
Right.
still it's a find, and it's still that rush. So I agree 100%. And that's why when I'm digging on these, when I do these live digs, I always, when I'm doing it, I always like to have the camera showing in the hole when I'm seeing the hole at the same time, because then the viewer gets to experience that same exact moment and feeling with me when I'm feeling it. There's a difference. In my opinion, it's a big difference, and I don't think people are doing enough of these live digs. Like, people will go live when they dig something, but they've already seen it, they've already found it, they already know what it is 99% of the time. People need to be doing more live dig sessions, like I've been doing. I'll go live and I'll dig the whole time, and you see what I see when I see it, and it's all live. And if I have to adjust my machine, or you're all part of that, and I really think that those videos they need to get with the times, dude. I've been doing them. Y'all need to catch up, is what I'm saying.
Right?
Yeah, man. Get with the program, folks. So what else do we got to talk about? First thing, guys, you're gonna have to go to Rattlesnake Dre's YouTube channel. Give him a subscription. Hit that bell and let him know you support him. He puts out some pretty good videos, and I've seen you dropped, I think, 2 videos this past week, or was it?
Yeah, I had them sitting in storage. I was working on them a little bit, and I just put those up because I knew I was gonna come on here with you, so I wanted to have those up. Actually, I have another one that I did in Tennessee when I actually went and meet Bird Dog in Tennessee. He helped me out big time. I took a trip up there, called him up, and he brought me on a little spot. My girlfriend found her first bullet by herself, because heaven forbid I find it and let her dig it. She has to do everything by herself. But I love her to death for supporting me, because I'm sure your wife knows. My girlfriend wakes up sometimes and I'm gone, and she knows where I'm at. I'm not in a bar room. I'm out there digging, getting dirty somewhere.
Mm.
But
Yeah, one of those things for me is my wife a lot of times goes with me. She'll come with me, and because she digs too. She has a Nocta Macro multi cruiser, and it's a hell of a machine. And she'll sometimes outdig me. I mean, it's just really fun to be able to do that together. But I do know what you mean. It's different. It's different. It's not like we're out in a bar having a beer. We're not out doing anything wrong. We're not hiding anything from you, man. Like, that's just what we're doing, because that's what I'd rather be doing that than at a bar any day of the week. And I'm 100% honesty there. I mean, that's just the way it is.
plus it keeps you cheap.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're out there walking for 10 hours. People ask me what I do on my day off. I tell them I walk around for 10 hours, and they're like, "What? What do you do?" But I wanted to show a few more things. You had said my favorite find. I don't know if this is my favorite find, but this is definitely my most valuable one. Was this right here? Now, this is a 1834 Drake bust. I don't know if that's focused in or not. But the detail on here is incredible. I don't know if it was dropped in 1834 right after, But when I pulled this out of the ground, this is the most I was ever shaking. Like, I had to kind of calm myself down. My buddy had just left. I was hunting with the guy that basically taught me how to metal detect. Told me, take your Discovery 3300 and you need to upgrade your machine. He's like, that's good for a beginner. He says, but go get you something that you'll actually do some. And actually, I have a piece of it. This was my first machine. It's in pieces because on the History Channel, I showed on the show, but I flipped in a kayak with this, and I lost 2 of these.
Oh my God!
So they had to buy me a new machine because he understood I was very upset, because I had my machine and a backup. I had 2 3300s, and I flipped, and they were ruined. And I'm like, dude, you better figure this out. And luckily, he had this little black credit card that belongs to the History Channel, and he went get me something really quick.
That's so awesome to think that the History Channel bought you a metal detector.
It's sitting right here. This is it right here. Mind Lab. That's from the History Channel. Thanks, guys. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool, man. That is so awesome. So, now what I was gonna say is, do you have an Instagram account, or where else can people get a hold of you? Do you have an Instagram? Do you have a LinkedIn account? Where can people get a hold of you if they want?
I do have an Instagram account. It's under Andre Brunet. You can find it on my Facebook too. My Facebook is full. My Instagram is completely metal detecting. There's a few funny things in there too. My YouTube channel is where I put most of my content, but everything is linked to my Facebook and my Instagram. If you go on my YouTube, I was kind of bummed out because I made a funny video in Disney World, and that got more views than all. I made it sneaking into Disney World.
Yeah, I seen that actually. I was going through your videos the other day, and I seen that. I thought it was what? It has like 5 or I can't even remember how many thousands of views it has on it.
And I was like, man, I treasure hunt, find things that are like almost 200 years old, and people are worried about sneaking into Disney World. But I am going to Disney World in 2020, and I'm bringing my metal detector, and I'm metal detecting in Disney World. I have a spot that I know I'm going to find stuff. Believe it or not, I don't want to talk about it anymore, but I will be dropping that video in 2020.
Let me ask you something. How illegal is that?
It's probably highly illegal, but I'm pretty sure it'll take a little while before I get caught. So
oh my God, don't do it.
Disney World is supposedly the happiest place on earth, so they're not going to kick you out. They're just going to be like, look, you got to pick up your metal detector. You need to go back to your room.
Oh, God. I do not condone that. Oh, so anyway, all right, here's the deal. Guys, go to his channel, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to mine, hit that sub button. Andre, Rattlesnake Dre, I want to thank you so much for joining. I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your night to come spend it with us. And just thanks, man. I really appreciate it. And if you want to say anything, let us know. And then we're going to head out.
Yeah, appreciate it, buddy. If you're ever in south of New Orleans, come to New Orleans, hit me up. I'll love to show you a few things I found. We can get out there and hunt a little bit. I got a few little spots I could take some people. So, doing what I love. Hopefully I'll get some more stuff on the History Channel. So keep watching. We'll see where this goes.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I think you're going to do good. So, all right, brother. It was nice talking to you. Stick around. All right? See you guys. You did good, man. It was great. Yeah, I thought it went really well.
Cool.
Oh, I think we're still live. I think we're still live here.
I didn't know if you could see him better than I could.
No, you did well, man. I thought everything was good. So I'm really excited about it. Thanks for doing the show. Seriously. Somebody said they want to BS with you. I got you. We're on the screen and the closing credits are going. They're just catching up, so they'll see it in just a second. I just said, you did great, man. You did great, and I'm live.
Hey, man, listen, I watch Joe Rogan's show all the time, and you can hear him talking off camera as he leaves. So.
Yeah, that's true. So, right on, man. I thought it went great. So, I really appreciate it, man. I really appreciate all that. And keep in touch. We'll do something. We'll do something.
Damn love couldn't go no
My girlfriend
further.
just said we're still
Proud
live.
of and
Oh, yeah,
disgusted
we're
by
definitely
her. Push on a little bruised and battered.
Yeah, I got you on
Oh,
screen.
Lord, I ain't coming home with
Credits are going.
Oh, so you can't hear us.
I don't know. It may.
my life's a bit more colder. Get wife is what I told her. Now sits to my shoulder. Oh, babe, don't know what I'm gonna do. I see my redhead mess bed, tear shed, queen bee my squeeze. The stage smells, tells, hells, bells, misspells, knocks me on my knees. It didn't hurt, flirt, blood, squirt, stuff, shirt like me on a tree. After I count down 3 rounds in hell, I'll be in good company. Damn love couldn't go no further. Proud of and disgusted by her. Push on a little bruised and battered. Oh, I ain't coming home with you. My life's a bit more colder. Dead wife is what I told her. Brass knife sinks to my shoulder. Oh, babe, don't know what I'm gonna do. I see my redhead mess bed, tear shed, queen bee my squeeze. The stage smells, tells, hells, bells, misspells, knocks me on my knees. It didn't hurt, flirt, blood, squirt, stuff, shirt like me on a tree. After I count down 3 rounds in hell, I'll be in good company. In hell, I'll be in good company. In hell, I'll be in good company.